Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Once again, out. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Once again. Okay, another trailer reaction for She Said. And as I think about this, I was about to say I don't want to say I know nothing about this other than I just read the log line. But I'm trying to think if I even heard about this because sometimes you hear about things that are in development and everything, and I'm not sure if I did. Say so. From just a brief scan of the log line, I guess this involves the beginnings of the Me Too um, movement, as far as when women first started coming forth about those like Harvey Weinstein and that were being taken advantage of or mistreated in Hollywood and other circles. So interesting topping, always interesting to see based on true story type thing. So like when I saw Bombshell, I found that pretty interesting. So let's see what she said.
Why is sexual harassment so pervasive and so hard to address? Let's interrogate the whole system.
Hi, my name is Jodi Cantor. I'm an investigative reporter for the New York Times.
What have you got?
I was told that the wrongdoing in Hollywood is overwhelming.
I don't want to be quoted. Period.
Understood.
In your previous stories,
How did you persuade women to tell you what had happened to them?
A case I made was, I can't change what happened to you in the past, but together we may be able to help protect other people. The truth, basically. What is it exactly that we're looking at here?
These young women walked into what they all had reason to believe were business meetings.
I can still see it, the hotel room, the floor plan.
He kept trying to touch me.
I asked him to leave me alone.
Instead, they say he met them with threats and sexual demands.
I was young, scared.
Hi, we're from the New York Times. I believe you used to work for Harvey Weinstein.
People have tried to write this story before. He kills it every time.
Harvey adamantly denies any allegation of assault.
He played people. He was a master manipulator.
Will you give me just one chance to talk to you?
Are you sure that this isn't just young women who want to sleep with a movie producer to try to get ahead?
This is bigger than Weinstein. This is about the system protecting abusers.
The women who receive these settlements, they can't speak out. They'll be sued if they do. But if someone could speak freely about the payouts...
What payouts, John?
You have to imagine that every call you make is being recorded, and you're being followed.
Can you imagine how many Harveys there are out there?
You want to get me killed?
Do you wish you hadn't signed up for this story?
Do you?
No.
The only way these women are going to go on the record
As if they all jumped together.
We're all here, Harvey.
Who have you talked to?
I have 3 daughters, and I don't want them to ever accept abuse or bullying. I'll go on the record.
Go write. It's time to write.
this is all going to come up.
I was silenced. I want my voice back.
You know, there's not much to say that comes to mind other than, again, as living through the past. I'm trying to think how to say this the right way. Not like it's a bad thing or anything, but with the changes since Me Too, or when it first really started coming, it was I think the thing has been, as they even say kind of in this trailer, is like, things that have been going on in Hollywood for a long time. And again, obviously it extends past Hollywood. It's the business world. It's so many things. Um, you know, they're all things that kind of everybody knew was going on in some way or level, because just unfortunately human nature, especially male human nature, um, you know. But like I said, just the sheer numbers and the sheer, for lack of a better word, depravity that was seen from Weinstein and others like this, of using their influence and whatnot to try to get these women to do what they wanted, and if not threatening to blackball them, that they would have no career at all. I mean, well, especially for those that are trying to get into the business in their first big break, but even those that who were, little, not majorly established, because they could usually offer a little, if they had a little pull, but, even those who had been in the industry for a little while still, versus Harvey Weinstein and others like that, you know, I guess I got Kevin Spacey among them. I mean, again, there are a number of names, obviously, that came out over time. Um, it's, it's just so disturbing. Um, and obviously, change the way things are looked at. But again, just to see it kind of depicted here, and as I said, like I like I enjoyed Bombshell, and seeing how that was, and then seeing this, further continuation of that type of story, or another look at it, if you will. It's it's sad to think, of course that goes on, but like I said, that's the world, unfortunately, and human nature. Right? By no means, no. But, so this is definitely something that I'm interested in seeing, of course, how these women, these reporters, the New York Times, how they proceeded to find the truth, and a way to present the truth, um, to educate others as well, and have Weinstein, of course, who has been sent to jail, and others, to hold them culpable for it. And yeah, like the thing, as they mentioned again, which I'd heard, when this all came out, and even beforehand, I'd heard some cases of it. This is someone who, um, loves, movies, and, some of the history of Hollywood. And, again, like I said, it's not just Hollywood, it's other things, businesses and whatnot, people, you know, hearing things about sexual harassment and everything. It's that, you know, whereas, you're, I guess, more low level, manager or person, who might be, like I said, as far as specifically Hollywood, um, low level independent director or whatever. Obviously, if they made those moves or whatever, they couldn't get away with that, or it'd be harder to, or easier to, I guess, avoid the consequences, or I'm trying to think how to say this. But basically, okay, if someone, that wasn't well known, have that major power, tried to do something to, instigate this type of behavior, they could be called out on it. The, actress or actor, potential, they, of course, they could walk out or whatever. Or, if they did something, it, of course, it would be he said, she said, or whatever, and they could probably still get their due and story heard. But then you add in the point for, like, of course, Weinstein, and others, is that, as it says, they had these payoffs, and as part of those, like, payoffs, those individuals who did take these payoffs and whatever, so they wouldn't speak further about it, they could never speak about it legally, or else, further be sued or persecuted, or, there's less chance of them being believed, because, people would be like, oh, well, you took all this money, how do we know that, blah, 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 So it's very interesting, it's very sobering. and I am looking forward to this. Like again, as I've referenced Bombshell, Bombshell was something that I guess as opposed to the things that I get majorly excited about, as I'm sure people have seen here, and maybe I should even go back and look at my own reaction on that. It's not one of those things that would be like, oh my god, yeah, I got to go see this and everything. But I did go see it because it was something that looked interesting to me, and this, like I said, looks very interesting to me. So like, of course, where I was like excited to go see, just recently went and saw Thor: Love and Thunder, and before that Doctor Strange, and if I can be disciplined and get myself to get some of my work done. I may go see Elvis. I never got around to seeing Top Gun Maverick, but I do want to still see that. Those are all things which I was either very like, okay, yeah, it seems something good. I pretty much plan want to go see that, or like, yes, I'm going to see that. Obviously, like with any Marvel thing or whatever. This is one of those things that it's not that like enthusiastic. Oh yeah, I got to see it, but it's like, yeah, this is looks like an interesting story that I do want to see as well, for a whole other reason, not just the sheer joy excitement of like blockbusters and all that. So yeah, anyways, I've rambled on for a little while. That is my reaction and my thoughts to She Said. As always, feel free to share, subscribe. Hopefully, give me a like if you like my content. What did you think of the trailer for She Said? And I mean, again, the story, what it's based about, and how things have been in the world since. Um, again, still need a lot of progress in that regard, I guess you could say. But yeah, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you thought, and as always, thank you for watching.